sword. What is that? It looks very nice. It's got like a green tinge to it.
I haven't seen the whale biter sword. I forget. It might be the whale biter. I do not have an inspect key, so I cannot check.
Where is the inspect key?
It got removed. I forget. I think you have to find it. You don't see it in the portrait any longer.
What?
No, I forget. When you spectate, I don't know. I do believe that is the whale biter, but is it part of my job to memorize every cosmetic? I think it is, because I've seen it so often. Yeah, there you go. Let's see. Smoke out for both sides. Level 1 engagement can kind of go either way. You really don't want to mass up against the shrapnel of Kaori, but if you do manage to isolate one, Talon has some, again, straight chain stun potential. They can find a flank. They're dancing around each other.
Big wraparound. Both sides completely avoiding each other for now. The thing is, I mean, you did see the Spirit Bear, because it did cross the dire side watcher, so at least they know the bear's on the other side.
30 seconds to battle.
They're going to find it once again. Cuckoo's going to break, well, not even break a smoke, he's just going to walk in and gets rooted first hit, and now the blocks are coming out. Disruption will be there. Arrow completely whiffed by Akashi, and Cuckoo looking pretty dead here as he is not going to go down. No. Jabs is the one in trouble. Jabs is down. Cuckoo will make it out. Akashi, in the meantime, also in a bit of danger as Q will continue chasing the Mirana. Akashi does get an arrow off before he goes down, but now Arbed's gone. Q, is he able to get out? They'll throw the brambles, but I don't believe they'll have enough control for Q. Or will they? WS will keep chasing. Oh, here we go. Cuckoo's back. Disruption is here. And Q looking to die, but Cuckoo dropping low himself goes right towards Kaori. And now Kaoru's gone. Well, that's the kind of start you love to see from Makoto, who secures a triple kill, and Arbed gives him to have fun. Well, that's respectable, Arbed.
Yeah, again, Abed's been remembering his entry key after the rune fight, so he will get the late have fun off. I'm sure Makoto will be having fun. A triple kill to start things off for a Kunkka. You know, we've been complaining about Talon Aurora going slow I'm hoping that's not the last 6 kills we'll see for the next 10 minutes. We'll see down the line, but... Huh?
It's such a horrible start for Arbed, though, because Makoto's got 2 braces on the way. Like...
Oh, yeah.
It's such a shame for Arbed, because now you really can't abuse the matchup, because he's got double braces on.
It's going to be a little bit slower going. You know, the Invoker as well does want to hit his double Wraith Band. You get range superiority, you get a lot of damage just from afar. Your universal type, it's very efficient for the Invoker to just right-click down the lane. Mikado shouldn't be bullied out too much, but as the levels stabilize, it should still feel pretty good for Abed. Take a look at the other lanes so far. Up top, we are looking at Akashi and Bosku up against Jabs and Q, and you do have that arrow set up here with a disruption. You do sit further back as a Mirana in comparison to most matchups up against the Mars. So you aren't under too much poke threat here from Jabs. It's going to take a few levels here from Q for you to really threaten. Maybe once you have Snowball plus the drinking buddies up, you can try to find someone out of their position. For the most part, Akashi will be more than happy to farm up. Jabs is doing a great job in just getting his own build up here, but the side of Talon shouldn't be hurting too much on this Mirana.
That bottom lane as well. I mean, you're going to have TA2000, who should be having a pretty good time, along with Kaori, and they'll be up against Jokam and WS. It doesn't really feel like there's much you can do about the Spirit Bear. I mean, they're going to try. In fact, they're going to move in. TA2000, he got a bit too excited. WS getting a lot of damage off, but he will also take quite a bit of damage back. It's kind of the thing, like, you go after the actual lone druid, you get a lot of damage, but then the Spirit Bear's hitting you the whole time, Kaori's hitting you from a mile away, and suddenly you're the one on low HP.
Can be a double-edged sword, both of Talon in the lane. Not the healthiest. Kaori can clean up with the next shrapnel here. Not quite enough.
Crack. Still going though. I mean, Jokam and WS just stuck on such low HP pools, and they can't fight over the Lotus because TA2000 is going to cut them off with the bear. And this lane is looking kind of dead for Talon because they have 0 regen left. Neither of them have regen.
There's going to be a little bit slower going. They've got some salves coming in for both our core and support, so they will be able to sit back in lane and just try to reset. The damage is done, though. This is a very free farm lane so far for TA2000. Not too much pressure coming out, and that is the strength of the support sniper. We were talking about this lane coming in. One lucky root from Bear, a couple of shrapnels up, and you are just in a very ugly spot for any hero that comes into this lane. WS is just going to have to cop it for a while. At the least, they do distract Cowrie away while the root comes in from TA2000. But WS, after salve, is still just down to half HP. It's just very unplayable right now for the Underlord.
It certainly is, and JoeCam going to be so careful not to get rooted by this Bear. It's just so much damage already. Like, they're trying to abuse the Firestorm, but WS just can't even get close to the creep wave. He's just dead. And you look at Cowrie the way he's playing, it's so frustrating, because he's blocked this large camp, and all he's doing is standing by it and ensuring that you can never D-ward. It's like JoeCam can never get close enough to get the D-ward off to pull the camp so that WS can farm by his tier 1 tower. It's just going to be the most infuriating game already for WS.
That's just sniper things, right? Like, this is why this hero as a support is just so popular. It crushes lanes hard. This is a lane matchup, again, that just works very favorably for the side of Aurora. This is going to escalate quite nicely for TA2000. He already has power treads up, can go for the double small stat items afterwards to upgrade these circlets. And again, with bare necessities, you're going to be fairly tanky with just these initial things up, and leaving a lot of room to still to scale. WS just not going to have fun whatsoever. Doesn't have the value point in Atrophy Aura either, as again he's focusing on Firestorm, trying to get the Pit of Malice connections, trying to chain that with a JoeCam on the Brambles, but it's just not panning out. And without Atrophy Aura, you just don't have durability to even cop the Bear. So Aurora making good use of that weaker lane right now from Talon. Taking a look at the other lanes again, I mean, even top lane for Jabs, right? Like, even if there's no big kill threat onto Akashi, they are making this a bit of a slower lane for the Mirana as well. Akashi is not farming as fast as TA2000. His lane isn't as free. You've got more stability coming out for Aurora. It's harder to try to kind of combine into that Mars. Like, you're not gunning for disruption arrow plays whatsoever here. You just want to farm. And that is playing into what Jabs would want here as well. So you're finding basically everything you'd want in every lane for Aurora. Maybe except the mid. This is going a little bit better for Mikado off the back of that triple kill in the rune. But beyond that, it's just...
Bit of revenge here onto Cowrie, but Q's being in to try and trade. Shards perfectly on target, and it seems like WS is gonna have to pay for this. JoeCam does get away, but you've lost the bigger target anyway. And that's all for the sake of a position 5 sniper. And JoeCam, he doesn't have any sentry ward, so he can't de-ward that large camp. So sadly, I was going to say maybe he can finally de-ward, but apparently not. Mid lane, Makoto is also dead. Another nice rotation here from Q as he jukes out the boat just on top. I mean, why not?
Yeah, I figured with that movement down bot, Mikado would be a little bit more free mid. They still have the time to regroup, get that movement onto the Kunkka that they were looking for initially before TPing down bot. And they equalized the game. And the rune kills were nice for Mikado, but everything has slowed down here for Talon. 5-5, 1k lead coming out for Aurora early on. But the tempo you're getting from WS just isn't there anymore. Still stuck at level 3, about to hit 4 on the Underlord. But he's not had anything to slow down this lane.
He's behind the POS 5 sniper, John. Cowrie's halfway to level 5. It just shows you how bad things are going here at this bottom lane. It's just really an atrocious start for WS. Not that it's his fault. I think Aurora just playing the safe lane extremely well. But my god, like, what option does he have?
Just gonna have to jungle. That is something Underlord can achieve. There's some stacks built up in the triangle as well. Not the most, but it's only something that, again, he can use for recovery down the line. You have a quick pause out from Talon. Does look like we are getting maybe a couple of connection issues here for Akashi. But again, a great start for Aurora, coming out of the gate strong. With a 2k lead early on, with probably the freest lane we've seen yet for TA2000. Accelerating in farm on the Berry Necessities Lone Druid quite nicely. And again, it's pretty scary to see this Lone Druid get such a strong start. All you need to do is bring himself in the bear, get Alacrity out from Abed, and the siege will just go seamlessly. Especially as you start to get coverage from all your other lanes. Jabs does have 6, has the point for Arena ready, and always kind of ensure the push goes on or ensure you win the team fight off the back of that. Whereas for Talon, because you're running the Mirana 1, again, you're not expecting too much early activity out from Akashi. Perhaps once he has Solar Flare, they can look for some commitment out. But this is where it gets a bit awkward with Kunkka Underlord. It's not really a duo that connects together all too well. I mean, it can connect together for control, but certainly not burst damage. You actually do need your Mirana for that one early on, and I just don't know if Akashi will want to actually take super early activity until at least his Maelstrom is up.
Akashi could be in a bit of danger here. Abed is just stalking him right now. Thing is, Abed is underneath the sentry, so Akashi should have seen him. Cuckoo's going to get a bit more vision on him as well, so they'll definitely know that Abed is around the corner. You can see Akashi and Cuckoo not feeling the safest up this top lane any longer.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
And a little scan out onto Cuckoo. They know the Shadow Demon might just be farming the jungle now, or at least stacking it up. They won't try to make any kind of play. They'll just return back into the mid lane here with their Invoker. The thing's still going very well for Akashi and Makoto in terms of core net worth. They are behind TA2000. In fact, they do find Cuckoo. TA2000 is still at the top of the net worth board on the Lone Druid, but at the very least, the mid and safe lane of Talon has not gone badly.
Yeah, it's not going that fast either, but it is keeping up. Mikado, despite that earlier gank, again, has managed to reach a point where double bracers are up. Fairly hard to burst down the Kunkka. They do manage to protect their stacks for now, but this forward ward from Aurora should allow them to find some opportunities down the line. Not the easiest spot to de-ward here as well for Cuckoo, though it does have the sentries ready if he wants to kind of double check. Again, for Talon's part, again, they've gotten room out for WS. He is clearing out his stacks, does hit level 6 now, is still severely behind in that fort, about 500 behind in comparison to Jabs. But the Underlord, at the very least, in this game for WS, doesn't need too much farm, although you will want your Aura items to be up before you start to feel really effective here. Whereas for Aurora, they're just going to be smoking around again with Abed. Double Wraith Band up, Power Treads up, has the levels, can go hunting.
They are trying now. It looks like WS is going to move in. They have caught Jabs already. It's a nice start for Talon as a Pit of Malice now going to catch 2 of them. Carry and Abed on the run. Here comes TA2000 on the Lone Druid as they do actually kill off Q to boot. They will leave TA2000. They don't really want to waste their time trying to deal with the Lone Druid. But it's still a pretty damn great fight for Talon as they get 2 and lose nothing.
They were quite ready in that position. Aurora were coming in with smoke, just maybe a little bit too early for Jabs to kind of try to walk up the ramp. Does get punished for it, didn't manage to throw it Arena. And Talon did manage to secure their stacks in the process as well, so don't manage to steal out that one camp. One other camp is exposed, and they are setting up for that siege now on Aurora's end.
WS can be caught. They are going to leave him alone. They won't bother trying to save WS here, and in fairness, WS doesn't really have much going on for him at the moment anyway, so it's kind of like killing a support right now. It doesn't really mean too much, but they are able to get the tier 1 top tower out of this.
That they are. I mean, in fairness to WS, his network has stabilized with Jabs. A while ago, he was like, right before that fight on the top jungle, he was about, what, 600 gold behind Jabs? He's right at around Jabs' net worth now, despite dying there, so he's in a fine position. Even though he's dying, he is giving the space out to the heroes that do need that space in the Mirana and in the Kunkka. Mikado is working onto the Blade Mail first for our Kunkka. Have a little bit more durability up front, bait out some damage onto himself and reflect it back. Akashi still yet to finish up the Maelstrom, straight into BKB afterwards. So great understanding out from Akashi in what they need this game. He needs to be able to take some early activity here, join his team, and the BKB should allow that once that is up. Still gonna take some time here though. Stacks being cleared out by Talon. Nice and easy here for their side. Aurora as well have their own stacks. And of course, Talon not able to really cross the river aren't going to be able to contest either. A very even game, 7-7, less than 1k lead still to Aurora, as the Talon supports will try to go with a smokeout. They do have level 6s up. So you've got the Terrorize, you've got the Bedlam, and you've got that Demonic Purge if you can isolate one target. The issue is, where do you find these kills? Their wards aren't giving them too much forward vision. Kaori isn't the biggest target here, but might have to be the one.
Won't even be the one. Cuckoo unable to get within range for a disruption. And Kaori going to be okay to retreat. Makoto now top of the net worth board on the Kunkka. I mean, he has been mostly farming the whole game, and Makoto has not really tried to make too many plays here on the Kunkka thus far. Does have the full blade mail up now. So he did get that triple kill at the start of the game as well, so he's had a very good game one so far. So we do have a Maelstrom to come out on Akashi. Of course, TA2000 already has his own Maelstrom up. And seeing that this is around the time where both teams probably looking to just slow down. Jabs, though, maybe looking to pick off Akashi, but unable to get within range for the arena. Makoto now showing up looking for Jabs. WS will TP in with the Fiend's Gate, though he does drop the arena, and now the Snowball to buy a bit of time from Q. But into the Pit of Malice, it is not going to mean too much, as Jabs will continue trying to run, and in fact has not made it out. Does go down, and so will Q by the looks of it. Another great fight here for Talon.
And it is. They're utilizing this potential of just dragging WS in every single time quite nicely. He's getting these pits off. It is hurting the save potential for Q. Like, this Tusk save just doesn't feel as impactful when you have to worry about the Pit of Malice. And they do get good punish. And that's a big set of kills for Talon to, again, keep this build-up going. They're not quite ready for a big 5v5 until they get that BKB up on Akashi. So you're more than happy to find these pickoffs. For Aurora's end, it's a lot of free space for TA2000 still. The Gleipnir's coming out soon for the Lone Druid. More hold to come in. You've got Abed just working onto that Witchblade. The right-click Invoker starting to scale up now in terms of output on top of all of this. And there is still a lot of room to grow. So it's a very even game state. Talon has been finding initiative from Aurora, maybe going a little bit too far, but it's not like Aurora's missing out on that much with the space they are creating for their bigger course anyhow.
Yeah. Looks like Aurora just going to sit back and relegate themselves to the Radiant jungle. This would be great for WS at the very least, because he had a horrific start, so he'll be more than happy to just slow the pace of the game a little bit and try to catch up. I believe Jabs will probably feel around the same way on the Mars. WS just going right into the pipe build-up. There's the full Gleipnir on TA2000 now available. Now, obviously, we've seen how powerful that item is. Can't wait to see this one nerfed. Bottom lane. Q caught into a torrent. Pit of Malice to lock him down, but TA2000 with a Gleipnir is going to throw it onto 2. Makoto's the target, but he got the boat off in time, so the run buff is there. Terrorize committed as well, but the arena now locking down the Kunkka, but the disruption is going to save. They'll throw a Sunstrike out, but Makoto is perfectly fine. He'll survive. It's now Arbit. Gonna get X'd up. Torrent will connect. Arbit in pretty big trouble. The drinking buddies to drag him away from the Pit of Malice. Can they kill the Invoker? It looks like they might try and they'll get him. Akashi, though! How did Akashi go down?
He jumped forward.
WS in danger. Trying to get out. Jabs will jump back in, but Jokam's going to go for the fight with the Bedlam. Spear away. He will survive, but not for long. Jabs is down, but they'll still kill Jokam. They'll go for more. Makoto acting as the carry for his team. As Kaori's going to try for a TP play out, but there's no chance in hell. So Talon, they end up coming out on top of that one. 2-3. But they lose Akashi in a bit of an awkward way.
I get why Akashi did leap forward. He was looking for that angle to kind of try to ensure Abed would die in that stun window. It's just very chaotic with all of the repositional elements there for Aurora. For Aurora's part, a little bit unfortunate with that Sunstrike from Abed. At the moment Makoto got out from the disruption, he was pushed by the arena wall. So it knocked him out of Sunstrike range, which might have been enough to kill him with a pure damage. And that just allows Mikado to be disruptive in basically his second life, along with getting that boat off earlier. Like the durability on this Kunkka cannot be understated. The burst damage on Aurora isn't quite there to melt through from them. Of course, you've also got the atrophy fully, well, not fully up, but at least 2 value points for WS. A little bit of that damage reduction goes a long way when you're playing with a rum buff here for Talon. And they do get themselves a net worth lead now. 2k, 1k lead coming out for Talon. BKB starting to fly in now. First one for Mikado up. Full pipe done on WS. More durability coming in for the side of Talon. For Aurora, you don't really have, again, aura buildup in your team this time around. At best, you might have the Pavis up on Q into the Solar Crest, but it's a Mars for jabs. He is going for Blink and BKB. BKB afterwards already has the Blink up. And that means you might not be as tanky as Talon is going down the line. Smoke out from Talon on the hunt now.
Looking towards that Radiant Triangle. Cuckoo will get some vision down, but they'll leave that area. They'll go for jabs instead. Up towards the north if they find him. And Mikado, he has his smoke broken. They run right into each other, though jabs. He'll blink north. Torrent into the Roshan pit will not land because jabs is running directly into the top left corner of the map. And he will be able to TP out just fine. So 9 to 12. 2k advantage the way of Talon. It does really start to feel like Talon are really just overtaking this game altogether. But at the same time, it is still one of those slower paced games where you never know what's going to happen. Because both sides are allowed to farm till infinity.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a moderate pace. I don't think this is as slow as we've seen from Talon and Aurora. It's a little bit quicker than yesterday's games at very least, with some engagements here and there. I do feel like for Aurora, there is a tiny bit of pressure to actually play quicker with this Lone Druid. Right, the bare necessities does mean Lone Druid gets online much faster because every item is going to be that much more effective. We haven't really seen siege potential that we were talking about here from Aurora kick in yet. Mid-tier 1 still standing, bot-tier 1 still standing. The bigger issue here for Aurora with how much Talon has been stacking up. Feels like they've taken a leaf out from Aurora in terms of maximizing this triangle area. And Aurora are just not able to contest this time around. So it feels like, again, a little bit of a reversal. Talon's the one able to constantly stack up triangle with her Shadow Demon. No contest coming out. Constant farm coming in for WS. And for Mikado whenever he swings by. And again, it's allowing this recovery process after a horrific laning phase. I mean, WS is now at pretty much almost the same net worth as Abed. After being bottom net worth core, barely above Sniper. Like, it's quite a long ways for WS to get to that point.
It has been. But he's there. In fact, he overtakes Abed now. Right behind TA2000.
Radiant's middle tower.
And concerning signs for Aurora, considering TA2000's the only one really keeping up in the net worth department. And Talon, they do show up for a mid-tier 1 tower. And this is kind of what I meant by slow-paced, is the tier 1 mid towers just don't go down till minimum the 20-minute mark every time. Well, there we go. It is gone. Talon, they'll open up the map just a little bit, but they'll retreat. Perhaps they can look down towards the bottom lane where you do have Kauri on the +5 sniper, but WS is just really interested in clearing out the creep wave that was attacking his tower. Full Vanguard up now into the Crimson Guard for the Underlord. And Aurora, I mean, they don't seem to really feel the necessity to try and get aggressive anytime soon. At the very least, it looks like they're probably going to wait for TA2000 to get the full disperser up before they do get going. It's still going to be a bit of time till he has it, though.
We need to wait a little bit longer. He will at least achieve BKB timing soon. WS is exposed by himself, but not killing off the tanky Underlord just like that. Aurora are trying to smoke into that position. There is still a tier 1, so you're not going to be flanking that much further in, unless they want to take the side route into the Tormentor area.
Tormentor actually getting these heroes very low. Kashi, be careful, sir. Be very careful, sir. Oh, boy. Oh, there we go. It happens. It happens, Jonathan. They even got the Tormentor.
tower
Q
is
got the
under
free
attack.
shards out of that.
Yep.
Radiant's
The
top
flank
tower
does
is
work.
under attack.
Jabs did miss out on the Wisdom Rune. One little
God
boon
forbid.
for Talon, but not a great time for Talon. Great punishment out from Jabs. Great read of what Talon were trying to get done there. No ward here for Makato to check on, so just a random movement out from Jabs paying off massively for Aurora, equalizing the game, slowing down Akashi just a tad bit, and taking away any potential free shard for Cuckoo, which would have been massive with a demonic cleanse. So you don't have that freebie lined up for yourself anytime soon. Still a very even game. 22 minutes in, 10 to 12, 1k lead now up for Aurora. And again, these BKBs are starting to come online just a little bit further here for Jabs. Quite a fair bit more time for Abed. But once you have at least this double BKB on Invoker and on Mars, you do start to feel more confident up against Talon. You don't need to worry about the Kunkka's control. The Mirana's damage at this point is a little bit reliant on Maelstrom proccing and the Storm constantly flying out, so it's not as big as it would be later on just yet. So we'll have a lot more windows here for Aurora once these are up. We'll take a small smoke on Talon though. Maybe try to flank around. Still no forward vision for Talon to play with. It's going to be a little bit harder to spot some big targets here.
Are scanning.
BKB coming out on Jabs, but he's not going to have it if they do engage right now.
Radiant's top
It looks like he
tower
has
is
realized they
under
were incoming, so he does blink away just in the nick of time. So a bit more defense coming out here for the Mars. Looks like the side of Aurora, they're more than happy to just take their Tormentor. That'll be a free shards for Jabs as well. Very nice. And Talon, I mean, they look like they're thinking about Roshan, which they certainly can get done with Akashi around. The question is, do Aurora want to try and fight? And the answer looks like it's probably going to end up being a no.
Jabs is in the general area clearing out. The creep wave, mass TPs are coming in. Roche already at a half HP, but they can take the follow-up fight. Scan is good. Roche will fall, but not quite in position to force it out.
Well, Talon don't seem like they want the fight anyway. They're just going to immediately TP Akashi out of there. Q is trying to keep up, and it looks like Cuckoo might be the unfortunate victim. Although, Shard's a little bit off the mark, but it doesn't matter. Still blocks him in the tree line, and well, they'll get a pos 5 kill. Talon will still be pretty happy with that retreat.
They should be. Get the deny on the tier 1 as well, so no gold being given out here to Aurora.
Oh,
They might
hold on.
not be able to take home.
They got Makoto. That's a much bigger target, but Makoto, he gets a BKB. Though he is blocked in by the shards of Q, so Jabs wants to keep going for another spear attempt, but it's a bit early. A little bit mistimed. At least Makoto is forced to boat just in case there was more coming. But that is going to give an opening to Aurora to try and force down this bottom tier 2 tower, and they'll take it.
Again, they've got activity out from TA2000. Does have at least the Diffusal Blade. Not too far off from that full Disperser now.
Radiant's middle
And the Siege with a Bear does not take too long. And Talon, for their part, no Solar Flare for half a minute. No boat. No opportunity to really fight. We'll have to just sit back and watch it get poked down. Down to 480 HP. Aurora. Another smoke out here. Arena's down, though.
Oh, the spear misses. Jokam didn't even avoid it. It just completely whiffed here from Jabs. It still won't matter. Jabs able to set up for Jokam's death. Looks like they might have to sacrifice TA2000's bear, though. At least the first bear. But no, not even. It's still fine. It's just running away. They're not going to commit for it. So Aurora suddenly getting away with a little bit
dire.
here, even with the Aegis on the side of Talon. Aurora are the ones finding the small kills here and there.
I mean, again, when they killed off Cuckoo, Talon couldn't really take a wider fight. They're reliant on that disruption to save them. They're reliant on it to set up for their own control. And that just kind of means Talon falls back. They get out of position a little bit. They get punished. They are already with all of their spells back up here. Moving out with a smoke. Just need to work the angle out. Fresh Gleipnir up on Akashi to help get some control of their own. Again, Cowrie's not the biggest target in the world, but might have to be the one.
Yeah, Akashi will happily take it. So Akashi's putting into the refresher orb now. Mid lane, Arena was dropped here onto Cuckoo. The Cuckoo does have the backup incoming. Back to Jabs. has been caught here by Joe Cam. Meanwhile, they're also jumping the Tusk. Jabs will make it out. Q will also make it out as they are unable to hold him down long enough. But Talon, while they're in the area, they're going to try for this tier 2 mid tower. The siege creep though does get taken out. Talon, do you want to commit? Seems like they just may.
I mean, why not? No arena to threaten them in team fight. That's their most consistent team fight spell coming out here for Aurora. So now you're a little bit more reliant on Abed landing his combinations, which, again, not the most reliable, especially as BKBs are up. They take the tier 2, they pull back. Not much more to go for here for Talon. They do see TA2000's Bear, perhaps, but not really an easy target to go for either. Aurora are in this general vicinity if they want to try to punish some stragglers here.
WS just going to casually take the outpost while TA2000's farming the Ancients. No fear right now on the Underlord. He's a very tanky boy. The Aurora, they're waiting. They know he's there. Here comes the rest of the squad. TA, he's going to go right after Joe Cam, trying to burst down the Dark Willow, but he's going to be okay for now. Instead, Bosku's the one to go down first. They'll try the WS now with the shards blocking him in. It's a very hard survival for WS, but the boats are now going to fly in from Makoto, and that'll give the buff required. In fact, no, it won't. WS still ends up going down. Arbid able to claim the kill for himself, and Aurora, they want to punish more. Makoto's being chased down. Arena perfect from Jabs, gonna lock him in. And poor old Makoto looks like he is set for the graveyard. In fact, they've even found Akashi now. Buyback's incoming. WS is gonna try and rejoin the team fight. Akashi will get to work. Q will go down, but TA2000's Bear is the big problem. Is Jabs in danger now as well? Akashi moving on to the Mars does take him down to boot. Kaori also in danger here to Bosku, but he does get the TP away.
Costly fight for Talon, having to buy back on WS for that one. They don't lose Aegis, but they still lose two big heroes in Makoto and WS. Aegis will expire now. No Solar Flare for any sort of chase down. And Talon, they were just standing under wards. WS was literally farming this camp under an Obs ward, giving Aurora all of that time to prep, giving them a flank angle onto Jokam very early on, take away the disruptiveness of the Bramble Maze, damage from the Bedlam, control from Terrorize, and just, again, cut off angles from Talon. 7k lead being maintained here by Aurora, as they are, again, building up quite nicely on Abed and TA2000 so far in this game. Talon, for their part, it is a little bit quirky for Akashi to go for the refresh, but a double set of Solar Flares can be nice. Double BKB almost feels necessary in this game. So maybe can't really fault him for wanting to go that route, but it will leave them with a little bit less damage on that Mirana, depending on how well Jabs can kind of position himself.
They're going to catch Joe Cam. Makoto around the area, unable to really help though. That'll be Joe Cam gone. Aurora, they won't try to pursue any further. That'll be enough for them for now. You're getting into that Tusk kickback territory at this point as well, because Q has started working towards the Ags. We've seen how difficult games can get once that's available. It's like Talon, they'll remain grouped up, but there is going to be a 5-man smoke from Aurora. Hoping that somebody comes for that Arcane Rune, but it seems like Abed will just have to take it himself. And of course the tier 1 mid tower is going to get destroyed. Thing is as well for Aurora, like, you take one good team fight where you wipe Talon, and you can go high ground so fast with the Alacrity plus Spirit Bear. It's going to be a very scary kind of deal for Talon, understanding if they lose one team fight, it's going to be a lot of objectives being taken.
High ground just disappears. Just like that for Talon if they're not too careful. Have to kind of try to be a little bit measured in these fights. Again, they have a lot of ways of prolonging these engagements with how durable you are with Kunkka plus an Underlord, but the lack of damage is something that will hurt them. They've not been able to really scratch TA2000. The Lone Druid is relatively tanky. There's a big lack of burst once again on Talon's end. And I don't really see a way of rectifying that so far, especially with the itemization. Akashi does switch around, looking for maybe a Satanic to follow through now. Oh, no.
So they're going to try for a quick freebie on Carry. They should have him no problems here. That's going to be about it. There's no real objective to take here for Talon, so they'll just go back down towards the bottom lane through the Fiend's Gate. Refresher Orb now fully completed for Akashi, so you do have those Solar Flares now available for the next fight. Or rather bottom lane, Cuckoo gets caught. Jab's able to get a nice arena on Cuckoo, but Cuckoo has bought himself a tiny bit of time. It just won't be enough. Here comes Akashi though. Q's the target. The Tusk is dead. Nice trade here for the Talon.
It is. Higher net worth on Q to trade away in comparison to Bosku. So you're more than happy to kind of find a 2-for-1 special with both supports falling here from Aurora. Are still building up an Akashi. Again, Satanic next, and they do take the gate up top. They saw a little bit of clear coming out there from TA2000, but again, catching out this lone druid is a tricky process. Next Roche still in 2 minutes, so not going to be able to try to snag that away as well on Talon's end, although Jokam is keeping watch. Speaking of Ags, it's not just Q that is going for the support Ags, you are looking at Jokam as well, going for the Dark Willow Ags. Mind you, this has been severely nerfed. Thanks to the talent trees taking a huge hit. So it's not as ridiculous as it once was, even with the throwing shade facet. It's just mildly awkward, but it is a little bit more DPS that Talon, again, lacks a fair bit of. So anything that helps is going to be appreciated, I'm sure, for this lineup. But they still haven't been able to close this network gap, right? It has maintained steady state at 7k, so Talon is keeping up with how much Aurora is also farming, but they've not been able to outfarm or find opportunities with kills to equalize just yet. But it does look like Roche will be our flashpoint here for both sides. It's still a ways off from the respawn, though.
Yeah, definitely going to be the big objective you're looking for. Neither team can really afford to let this one go, but I think Talon in particular cannot afford to allow Aurora an Aegis, because again, if they get close to your high ground, the towers will just get destroyed so quickly. Aurora, they'll wait by the bottom lane. Smoke will be popped, but they'll just hang by TA2000. 5-man Smoke is now there. Refresher Orb on Jab, so double Arena and Spear are now available. Oh, Makoto, he may get spotted first. They get the Spear off. Jabs with a beautiful setup, and Makoto is gone. Perfect start here for Aurora. Terrorize is out to try and help out as Makoto now has brought back into the fight. Jabs, he'll get another arena, but Cuckoo is perfectly fine through this one. TA2000 trying to make his gap close there as he gets Cuckoo on the Shadow Demon, but is it going to cost him? The boat will come in. TA2000, he's dropping pretty darn quick. Q, he'll get the snowball off in time, but is it enough? TA, he's gone. Q dropping low, so is Jabs now as well. Hell, even Roshan getting involved. They found the Tusk. Q will drop. Meanwhile, Roshan bashing Makoto as they are chasing Jabs, but Jabs jumps back in for Akashi. Is there a TP cancel? There is. Makoto will get the torrent. Jabs looking to go down eventually here. And that should mean Talon will have dibs on Roshan. But do they have the damage for it? They lost Akashi at the last second.
Yeah, they don't. You're going to have to wait for that respawn on Mirana. You're not going to buy back and just secure Roche. That will give time for Aurora to respawn as well and get into a position to take Roshan themselves. Now, just going to shove in while everyone's dead. Onto the mid they go. They've got good damage coming in from WS, living through a lot of that with the Atrophy. They should be able to get this done, even fortifying their creep waves to ensure that this can be cleared out.
That'll be the tier 3 tower down. They still got time for Arax if they really want to risk it, but they will not. The thing is, everyone is going to respawn by the time Akashi is back up, so Aurora will have plenty of time to be in position to counter out the Roshan play that should be coming very soon.
Radiant's middle barracks are under
The Jab's
attack.
giving them that little opportunity by killing Akashi. Understanding he was probably already dead anyway. And it's still the next big objective. I mean, Roshan's just so important. Roshan banner available as well as the Aegis. The group up is going to be out from Aurora up at that top lane once again. Of course, Talon, they are hanging around the top lane to boot, just getting prepped for the Roshan. Keep in mind, Akashi does not have a TP and is not by his team right now. He needs to get there ASAP.
To be able to angle in, refresh orb down for a few more seconds on both Akashi and Jabs, but double arena, double BKB, double solar flare is going to be up for both sides by the time this engagement does break in. Talon will start off with her smoke first. And this kind of smoke play we've seen not pan out for Talon multiple times in the International when they played. See if it pans out this time around in the exact same spot they've been losing fights here. T2000 the same spot to break the smoke.
Let's break it. TA2000. They'll see him though with the Pit of Malice locking him down. Torrent will be there as well. Jabs will drop the arena onto 2 targets, but it's a big
Great
boat
boat.
from Makoto flying right into the TA2000. And he's gone. The boats just locking him down constantly as now Aurora need to get the hell out. The fight's over. Roshan is Talon's. And I mean, it was the same spot to break the smoke, but this time Talon were ready for it.
And I'm a little bit surprised it was TA2000 standing in that spot to break the smoke. WS did have Shivas to start to check the tree line a little bit better this time around. And that just presented a very free kill onto the lone druid. You could have placed literally any other hero in that specific tree. Like, using Kaori as bait wouldn't have been too bad. If you used Q first, he always has the blink out or the snowball until you try to escape. Talon, get that punishment out, get Aegis up for themselves along with the Roche banner, get the full Satanic done on Akashi, and they straight gate across onto mid to shove in that creep wave and try to clear out those Raxes. Respawn times aren't the longest here on Aurora, but Jabs did pop the refresh when he took that last fight to drop 2 arenas to stall for time. That means he doesn't have the double arena, no double BKB for any sort of defensive fight even after he respawns up here.
Mid-Rax will go down. Talon looking very, very good now for game 1. They can't go for the other Raxes yet because there are tier 2 towers still standing, but they'll go ahead and start addressing those. It's that point where we're going to have to see some magic coming out, I think, from Q. Got that Aghanim Scepter up in 800 gold from now, so the kickback plays will be available very soon, but you need it ASAP with the way this game 1's gone.
Radiant's top tower is under
WS still hesitant to hit the tier 2 tower. They'll play it slow. They do not want to give the opportunity to Aurora to find some easy pickoffs here in this tier 2 tower.
Radiant's
But
top
eventually
tower
Akashi does move in. He's got the multi-shot arrows now as well, so he's got plenty of scouting potential on his own.
Radiant's top
And it is really hard to go against Mirana when she hits level 25, because those arrows, like, you get hit by a rogue arrow and your fight's just over.
No. Just gives way too much info out, right? If one arrow hits, the other 2 will scout the flanks, tell us if there's anyone to help save, and just gives you that perfect opportunity to fully commit. It just does way too much. There's some fun synergies as well that I didn't really get to point out. We didn't really point out earlier on, but you think about this, Mikey. Solar Flare with Mikado with his Tidebringer facet, right? You hit 5 heroes with your Tidebringer. Your next auto attack will just have Tidebringer again. And you have Solar Flare attack speed. That could be funny. I think that's one of the things leading into this quicker burst as well. Despite not having damage items on Akashi, really, they have still been able to clear out a lot of these heroes much quicker than you'd expect them to.
There you go. They're still playing safely enough though, Talon. I mean, understanding that Aurora could very easily turn this game around with one slight mistake, and we did see that in the lower bracket final in game 2. Well, that was a few slight mistakes, but, you know, you get my point, John. Talon, they'll move through the top lane here with the Akashi. Jabs is just creep skipping on the Mars, not allowing them to get too close to the high ground, but he can't deal with the siege creeps. So there is still 2 siege creeps on the way. Q does have that Axe up, and there's the kick. He's got Akashi with that kickback, and that'll be the Aegis down. A beautiful start already as the arena now catching out WS. The spear, way too early in Akashi. He'll leap out of the arena. WS will take no damage. They'll move in with the Spirit Bear now. TA2000, but the Bear is just melting to the Firestorm of WS as they drop another arena now. That's a secondary, but Cuckoo, he's in to save. WS still fine for now. Will pop the Shiver's Guard, continuing to fight as now Akashi. He'll jump in with the secondary Solar Flare. It's not looking too good for the side of Aurora as they'll lose jabs, but they'll buy back immediately. Q is down a boot. No buyback on the support duo. There goes Abed. He'll buy back. But it's a 3 versus 5 situation. Aurora in dire straits as Jabs has jumped in for a spear, but it lands on nothing. Arrow will connect. Jabs maybe set to fall. And that'll be an immediate dieback on the Mars. As it seems like game 1 should be going the way of Talon. They'll lose TA2000, though he'll buy back another time, but he's got no bear to respawn. It's on cooldown. What can you do with no bear as the bear man? Joe Camp gonna jump in, and that'll be a lone druid gone a second time, and that should be enough to call it. I mean, Arbet's still alive, and so is Cowrie, but that'll be it. GG is called. Talon will claim game 1.
And they claim it in fairly strong fashion as well. We see some big plays coming out there from Aurora. You know, they do manage to go for this lone brood for TA2000, which felt good, but the lane wasn't particularly... I mean, it was pretty atrocious for WS.
For whatever reason. That's what happens, John, after Naruto's generation. Just straight from, you know, a wooden village to aliens invade. How great's that?
Oh, God. That sounds amazing. That is peak entertainment. Neff would say that's the best thing he's ever heard. He'd be doubting why he's ever doubted Boruto. But more important than Boruto, we do still have this match. I am concerned with how all-in Talon is on this physical output. I feel like the Guardian Angel is going to do a lot of work. So it is still a bit concerning. If Cowrie's in the right spot at the right time, Guardian Angel is going to be doing quite a fair bit. And you do have 3 heroes that can go Nullifier. Whether or not you get the farm to reach that point is a different question entirely here.
As that Greater Treant, just scouting around for some vision. Makoto, I was about to call him Minato. Makoto's not going to allow him to scout around for free.
30 seconds to battle.
Do we see a level 1 team fight here, I can only imagine? Last game around, we had like, what, 5-6 kills before the 0-minute mark?
Yep.
That was great. Makoto just starts on a triple kill.
Probably not this time around. I feel like Talon's level 1 is... It's okay. It's not amazing. On the side of Aurora are playing a lot more defensively. No one did the ring around or rosy smokes. We are just going to be trading bounties. No big deal for either side. Abed again with the have fun. Akashi with a very polite good luck. Good luck po. Some respect for good old Abed.
Indeed. You never call me po, which is a bit upsetting, John. Could pay me a bit
Do
of respect sometimes.
Do you want me to act like I'm talking to someone older now while we're casting? All right.
Well, I am older.
Tito Kuya Mike, we are getting into that. Just sounds wrong already.
I love it.
I will stop
Kuya
myself.
Mike.
Later on. Let the game go on first. Yeah, later on, we'll start to dig into that once we reach the stall point of the game, Mike. For now, taking a look at the lanes, you've got Mikado and Abed up against each other on the Puck TA. Not a matchup we've seen too often nowadays, but we have seen it a lot before, and the TA does come out on top for the most part. Again, the Puck doesn't bully out as bad as it used to. You've got the Refractor as well for Mikado, so as Refraction goes down, his damage goes up. Has a fun time going to Machine Gun Abed and lane creeps. Not much a Puck can really do to stop that. Just have to be smart with whenever the TA walks a little bit up front to get some free right clicks and try to spam the orb up as smart as possible, but Mikado's not going to mind too much.
Cuckoo dropping pretty low down at that bottom lane. Already a lot of aggression here from Q and Jabs, but Cuckoo is going to be okay as Akashi's now just trading back with Jabs. Meanwhile, top lane, TA2000 and Cowrie against Jocam and WS. Seems like this is going to be a lane where WS won't struggle too much, but it is that damn Greater Treant. I say he's not going to struggle, but that stupid Treant We'll just follow him the whole laning stage.
And it will. At the very least, WS can always just cleave through, and even cleave through the Treant, although a melee matchup up against an Omni Knight can be quite annoying. Kauri, again, with that pure Hammer of Purity, does do a lot of damage when he can gap close while Jokam is elsewhere on the map, so that is something to watch out for. The one thing here that is extra annoying as well for Jokam is once Repel is up, well, you're not going to have a great time in trying to stack up those debuffs on the Bat Rider, and you get a lot of efficiency for your stick here as well for Aurora. And that is one thing that can help stabilize here for Aurora up top. So far in the laning phase, though, it's not looking too bad for WS, but certainly not the smoothest of times. He does have some denies. The equalize. The mid lane matchup is going pretty rough for Abed. Almost a full creep wave behind now in comparison to Mikado's farm. Again, this is something we used to see quite often, but it is, again, a relatively tough one for Puck. And again, with the introduction of facets, the damage output of TA in laning phase just cannot be underestimated.
It's pretty ridiculous.
Oh, Kauri?
It is pretty dumb. Kauri, a bit of danger here, does go down. That'll be first blood to go the way of WS. It's like TA2000 desperately trying to get a trade here against Jokam, and Jokam ate the wrong tree, sadly. Got blocked by the other tree outside of the sprout. What can you do? It happens. This bottom lane now, a bit of action as well, but looks like both sides going to be okay to retreat. But first blood the way of Talon.
Yeah, get a little bit bonus for WS. A little bit surprised Kauri opted for Purification over Repel. That does allow Jokam to get full value out from the sticky napalm spam he's been constantly applying, and does lead into some nice burst plays on hand onto Kauri in particular. Do have to be a little bit cautious about that, but as Kauri approaches level 3, that shouldn't be an issue later on the line. Of course, with how active Jokam is in the lane as well, he's not able to really stack up. They are getting a chase down here.
Good. Q goes down. Cuckoo being very annoying here on this Marcy is now Jabs is in trouble. Akashi's going to be there to back him up. He's got a dispose available now, but he can't get within range yet because of the damn creeps. Eventually, he will land it, and Jabs might actually just be set to go down as Cuckoo. He'll set up a double kill down at the bottom lane. And Talon, I'll tell you, John, it's 3-1 so far, but the side lanes are going very well for them.
That they are. A lot better than I think I'd expect them to go. Maybe not the bot lane, as, again, Marcy Wind Ranger does make a lot of sense. It does do quite a fair bit with each other. Good gap close, good damage when you can go on top of someone. But the top lane is certainly a little bit surprising. Again, this skill build on Kauri does cost him. He does go all in on the Purification. So maybe trying to utilize the Ironwood Treant, moving it forward, get Purification harassment off. You'll heal up anyway. But again, with no Repel, Jokam is just very happy to work that lane. And with how many levels WS has, there's some room to stack up now. Mikado's going to be very happy with these stacks in the triangle. And his lane is just crushing Abed. 18 to 27 on the TA versus Puck. It is not fun for Abed right now. Mikado is going to have some great timings into Power Treads, into maybe Dragonlance or Deso, into Blink. And that's where this lineup really starts to get going.
Bit more action down to this bottom lane. Looks like Jabs wants to pull the creep wave away, but he's in danger again. Cuckoo will move in. They've got Abed trying to connect. They'll see Abed moving in, so Cuckoo does back off, as now they'll turn their attention onto Akashi. No TP's coming from Talon, though Akashi's still running, looking back towards Jabs. Power shot does land. Cuckoo will get Jabs down, but it does cost them Akashi. So pretty important rotation from Abed, even prior to the level 6 mark on the puck. Just feeling the need to help this offlane.
Feeling the need to help the offlane, and again, there's just no play for Abed mid. Mikado's just taken complete control, so he has to find out catch-up by making these moves across the map earlier on. We'll try to fight over the runes as well. And it does manage to snag away the shield rune, so a nice little win for Abed. At the very least, not going to get bursted down by Mikado anytime soon, although Mikado is just playing aggressively under that tier 1.
Oh yeah, TA is a bit of a dumb hero at the moment, but they are going to move in with TA 2000 now. TA looking for a sprout, but out of range. Mikado, he'll give him a bit of a clap on his way out. That's a bit unfortunate now, TA. He'll have to relegate himself to the jungle to farm.
Giving a free lane out to WS, allowing this Kunkka to just get a fast ride into level 6. There are some stacks built up at the very least, so it's a happy set of form for TA2000, but a missed opportunity for sure. This is when the TA for Mikado is at its most vulnerable, of course, without any big items up just yet. Could have been a prime time to get a kill. They are going to be able to secure their own Wisdom Runes at the very least, but they even drag Abed in to kind of get that done, which is a lot of commitment out from Abed just to get a bottle top-up. Will be a 1-for-1 in the Wisdom Runes, but certainly happy days for Talon in terms of laning so far. And I do want to point one thing out. You know, Cuckoo from his time in TNC, you know, when they came back for the TI quals, and from his time playing with players like Jing. Jing was a proficient Marcy player that sometimes looked a little bit flat. I wonder if this is all Cuckoo, you know, in a way, Cuckoo's just trying to prove a point, I guess. Because I remember when Jing, you know, when they were in the same team, Jing and Cuckoo, it wouldn't look as amazing as this. Kaori getting chased a bit.
Certainly is. Kaori does have the help of Q. He comes TA2000 to boot, so few heroes coming in as Kaori actually just uses the purification to kill off Jokam. WS, though, wants to keep going with the boat thrown out. Akashi's going to join into boot, though he misses the shackle. WS now needing an escape plan, but the bushwhack is going to lock him down temporarily. WS now blocked by the Sprout, but not quite. So even Akashi finding Kaori with the power shot. It's now TA2000 trying to run. Torrent will not land, but the focus fire continues. And TA2000, he'll get shackled up here by Akashi. And will go down. They will at least get the hoodwink out of there, but what the hell do they care? They'll lose their carry and their POS 5. And while all that was happening, John, Makoto's just casually taking the mid-tier 1 tower.
All the space in the world, all of their attention were dragged up top. Now mid-tier 1 just falls. You've got Sidekick onto Mikado. Again, a lot of value on the Marcy to just have these two physical cores that you can buff up nicely. Mikado is working onto Dragonlance first, so wants the stats and wants a little bit more reach in this game. But I do appreciate all the small things Talon are doing. Like, look at Akashi's item build, right? Like, he opts for Power Treads Null over Arcane Boots. And that's just enough mana for him to play as they catch jabs out.
Well, they certainly do jabs. He'll be a big target to take down, and Akashi will happily do so. In fact, Cuckoo will turn around and take care of it. Let's give him the old right hook to the jaw. 3k advantage now for Talon. Already a brilliant start. Aurora, they're the ones to start off a little bit on the slower end. It might be about that time where they just kind of sit back and maybe secure some farm here, because these fights have not been working at all.
They haven't. You need some recovery, but the issue is you need recovery on almost all of your heroes, right? Jabs is going to need some time to build up. Maybe when he has his Fiend's Gate, you can start to play as talented in game 1. WS, though, just looking for TA2000 here.
He's found him. X into the boat. Jokam's going to show up, and TA2000, he is not very tanky. They'll move in with the purification, and Abed will rotate. Even Jabs throwing in the Fiend's Gate to try and make sure that they do not lose TA. Jokam's life will be lost, but it does cost them 5 heroes to rotate to make that kill happen.
Yeah, honestly, I think if you're Talon, you're still pretty happy, because you're dragging all of this attention away again from Mikado. Triangle's being taken now by the TA. Dragonlance timing should be lining up relatively soon. You've got all the room in the world for Akashi to also just play farm up, although he has taken a little bit of a backseat in comparison to RTA. But Maelstrom still lining up into the BKB. It is stalling out Jokam's blink timing for sure. He's not able to secure these stacks for himself with this kind of lineup. So at the very least, you don't need to worry about Blink Lasso anytime soon. But Aurora, they're not able to work the map as efficiently. It's still an important kill to how far behind you are. Getting some nice EXP injections out as well here for Jabs is going to work into that Crimson Guard to counteract all of this physical output. Talon just laid to siege onto the tier 1 top, and with all of their spells expended, Aurora can't really defend. Mikado cleans it up, Dragonlance up, and Cuckoo just goes in solo.
Why not? Cuckoo. I mean, maybe he is proving a point here, John. Cuckoo now 4-0-1 on the Marcy. And here we go. He started with the voice line spam. That's when you know he's having a good time.
Good old Bosku. He is definitely having a great time, and it's fair in this game. He's done a lot. I feel like for Aurora, this lineup isn't completely shut out yet. You are missing out on this early tempo an NP can have, but down the line, your Omni Knight's going to be extra annoying. You're going to be able to break out of these fights. You'll have the auras up on Jabs. You just kind of need to stem the bleeding until that point. The concern is that Talon gets a little bit too big, despite all of those defensive tools being up, that they will still overwhelm you. They do manage to punish Cuckoo at the very least.
Yeah, it's a dominating spree being handed the way of Q, so he'll be pretty happy with that. Nice little pick up here from Aurora. I think the big issue is going to be Makoto, though. Like, Makoto's just had the best start he could have asked for, and here we go. They're going to try and take him down. Refraction is gone. Silence is there. Makoto's still trying to run through the spout. Does make it for now as the lasso is out onto one. TA2000's the target. Makoto's still alive. In fact, he's farming right now. Makoto's still being chased by creeps. But he's alright. Meanwhile, Jabs and Arbit have both been lost as TA2000 now being targeted. A beautiful rebound from Cuckoo. TA2000 going down. A triple kill for WS. And they want more. They'll chase down the Squirrel and Q for a full team wipe if they can find him. Q, though, juking, breaking some ankles, but not for long. An ultra kill for WS.
It's so insane that Mikado gets to live through all of that. A full commitment, Guardian Angel thrown out, everything thrown out. I mean, he had Refraction coming up. Like, again, Mikado's favorite hero is the TA. He knows its limits. He knows he has the Refractor facet, so even if he loses some charges, he can just burst down the Great Retreat if he wants. So he has that full confidence. Stays alive, his team backs him up, tier 1 there as a TP point, and Aurora just lack output. There is a severe lack of damage in this lineup right now. I mean, you don't even have the full Witchblade for Abed. The auras aren't done on Jabs. He's just having to Fiend's Gate in to try to soak up and provide some control in these engagements. TA2000 does have Maelstrom, but that's not nearly enough to contend with what Talon has at the moment. They will move out with a smoke. Jokam is probably the easiest target you can go for.
I should be able to get this one. Q, Acorn shot. It's going to land. Jokam. Oh, nice bushwhack. Q, right on edge. It'll be a nice easy bat rider pick off, but WS still looking to punish here as he will throw out a torrent, but it will not land on Q. He has lost vision for the X-Back, so that's not going to come out. They could still look to Arbit. Arbit decides to farm the creep wave.
Oh, Jesus, Cowrie. He's Guardian Angeling himself.
Oh boy. Well, Arbit's still being chased here, but it looks like he's alright. Cowrie's the one in trouble. They're going to bring in some more here with Jabs. Peter manages to lock down the TA. Has he gone too far? I think he may just have. Is he still going to try for Cowrie? But no. Makoto going down.
It goes a little bit crazy, maybe feeling confident with that bottled up regen rune and popping the refraction there. Not quite having all of that online with a great silence out from Abed. And they finally get a meaningful kill on Aurora to slow that pace down from Talon. Going a little bit ham on Mikado. Sometimes he does. Yeah, you feel yourself sometimes when you're playing a TA. And for Aurora, a much needed kill. Again, not quite enough to equalize the game just yet, but it's baby steps like that that can build into an opportunity to find later on. Still, Talon have been very efficient across the map. Akashi and BKB just basically lacking the recipe at this point. And WS for his part starting to work into the auras. The pipe going to be very meaningful up against the damage sources of Aurora at the moment. So we'll want to get the room to get that done for himself as well. Do appreciate the Talon wards this time around as well. A little bit more aggressive in comparison to game 1. A good ward watching top. Even the forward jungle up top as well being kept an eye on here by Talon. And for Aurora, again, not as much reach. When you are behind on the map, you don't get as many opportunities for some sneaky wards here. And we'll smoke up. They've got the Blink and Jokam. Blink Lasso ready. This support duo can get kills by themselves here.
We're going to find Cowrie. Lasso immediately out, no hesitation. And of course, Cuckoo throwing hands now with Cowrie. Makoto going to intervene, and Cowrie is dead. I mean, he is at least a tanky position 5, and is a bit of a challenge to deal with, but not that much of a challenge.
Not the most tanky hero in the world. Again, he did have to expend Guardian Angel solo, so wouldn't have that this time around. Is off cooldown once again, though. At the very least, for the next engagement, they will have it available. 14-7, Talon again playing pretty aggressive early on while still maintaining that build-up. We're going to get that BKB and Akashi in short order, 500 gold away. Mikado working onto the shard to help control Abed, probably the most annoying hero to kind of pin out. And if you can get that trap silence off, if Repel is down, which it's a fairly long cooldown to commit, should be able to find that opportunity to take care of these slippery targets here into the Desolator afterwards for Mikado. Still, Gleipnir now done on TA2000 can combine nicely with a Pit of Malice out from Jabs. Jabs, for his part, only lacking the recipe for the Crimson Guard. They will get the room to at least clear this bot tier 1. So they open the map a little bit more. They've got some aggressive vision now out on Aurora, peeking into that bottom jungle. So they can try to get some punish down the line. And that's where Aurora's lineup can start to shine, right? You use this aggressive vision, teleportation, Fiend's Gate in, and you can start to find some pickoffs as they come here.
Here we go, Abed. Closest target to Talon right now. They're going to head through the Twin Gates instead, go down towards the bottom side of the map. TA2000 just left that area. They're not really going to be able to find too much out of this rotation yet. Carry is going back into the Dire Triangle though, so there is an opportunity to just pick him off again. They'll go for the D-Ward instead. They have no vision over the Omni, and Carry is going to make it out. Man, looking at the farm of TA2000, it is kind of sad at the moment. He's just holding a Gleipnir. Carry does eventually get caught, and he's gone. Makoto making very short work of him.
That is his shard reveal. So you should start to prep yourself now on Abed for that, at least. Not going to get caught too off guard, depending on the placement of Mikado's traps here. Full pipe now up on WS as well to, again, mitigate some of that output that Aurora is dependent on, as the physical damage just isn't quite there yet for the lineup on Aurora. And for Talon's part, they're hitting all of their big spikes. Cuckoo looking like he's working into BKB. You do at least have one Aura item up on Jabs that could be of massive help. Crimson Guard is available. Not the highest HP on Jabs just yet, but that is some good block for at least Akashi's damage. I'm not sure if it's going to really stop Mikado here with his own output.
Was that spotted? They smoked up on Aurora, but I could have sworn Q was right on top of a trap.
I believe so. The pings were out.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Bit unfortunate for Aurora. I mean, it is very hard to smoke when the TA traps are just all over the place. And well, now Roshan's going to get started. Talon, they know they've gone the other way. They want to just quickly go for a quick Roshan. The scan is going to be there from Aurora, so they are very well aware that Roshan is potentially happening at the moment. But it seems like they may have just accepted that they're not going to get there in time. Well, they could get there in time with the Fiend's Gate, but it's probably just not worth the risk. They're 8k behind after all, and at Talon, they are really within their spike at the moment. Not really advised to fight them.
And it isn't. Just going to take Roche for free. Aegis for Mikado coming in. And that little golden injection does help Cuckoo. He's only lacking the recipe now for the BKB on our past 5 Marcy.
They've caught the Omni Knight again. Kaori having a very rough time. We'll pop the Guardian Angel once again, but it doesn't really seem like he's got a chance out of this. The Kaori having it rough this game, number 2. Will drop again. You're not really seeing the impact of the Omni yet either, because you're not having those big 5v5s. Yeah, that's where it feels like the Omni Knight really starts to shine, is when you're taking those big team fights, but it just hasn't happened yet for Aurora because they're just not ready for it.
Ah. They tried to commit for Cuckoo as well down bot. They dropped the gate and they don't even follow through. Cuckoo's just fine.
Well, you don't want to go into the T2 tower, I think, is the idea. Is Makoto's just going to clear up Q. Abed looks like he's going to be just fine. But Makoto's basically at that one-shot potential at the moment, and that's without the Desolator up. So it's quite scary times.
And it is. Again, for Aurora, I'm wondering what they're waiting for at this point. They've got the Blink Witchblade up on Abed, Gleipnir into Dragonlance done for TA2000, into the Hurricane Pike next, and again, that Crimson Guard on Jabs. But they're still not willing to take engagement. Mind you, the damage does still feel lacking. And I think it just goes back to Nature's Prophet carry in this game. Nature's Prophet carry and leaving Wind Ranger alone. Like, they did take care of Luna, they took care of Mirana, but they left the Wind Ranger. and it just feels like NP is a very specific sort of carry. It's very high tempo. That one rotation mid didn't pan out, and after that we haven't seen the most aggressive plays from TA2000 unless it's a very secured kill. They'll lose that tier 2 bot. Backdoor it does kick in time, but the next creep wave is on, and they'll be able to take the Tormentor on top of it as well.
Easy Tormentor.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Immediate
attack.
TP's down towards the mid and top lane, so it seems like they want to go back into their own triangle and see if they can find the side of Aurora. Aurora getting some vision in that Radiant triangle, maybe just for future setup. And Talon, they'll go back for their own Tormentor now. Just claim both of them. Jokam already got his shard up from that.
Dire are scanning.
It'll be one for Cuckoo now. Very, very nice.
A lot more pesky without rebound on enemies. A lot more opportunities to reach here for Cuckoo. Aurora's still moving around with smoke. Mikado still has Aegis, though. Not the best target to try to jump.
The thing is, if you don't jump Makoto, who are you going to jump? Like, it just... The burst potential from this TA at the moment is pretty huge. So they might try to pressure the mid-tier 2 tower, but they'll go for a smoke instead.
Dire's middle tower
Look,
is under
hoping
attack.
somebody comes over to clear the creep wave by the tier 2,
Radiant's
but
bottom tower is
Aurora
under
being very
attack.
hesitant to show up at that area. Oh, TA2000. Yeah, I mean, it really couldn't be
Oh,
worse
boy.
than this for TA2000. Akashi's timing is really just perfect with the voice liners. TA, he does get the 4-star for wave for now, but the lasso to drag him back is going to make it very hard. The TA with the Guardian Angel should make it and does. Instead, they will take Kaori, who willingly sacrifices himself for his carry.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Very well worthwhile sacrifice.
Is under
That does take care of Guardian Angel for a minute and a half. So Talon does have, again, a very big opening where that save potential just isn't there for Aurora. And Talon will just get started onto another tier 2. And Mikado all by his lonesome,
Radiant's
getting this
bottom
done
tower is under
by
attack.
himself before the next creep wave even comes in. And already down to 600 HP from a few right clicks here from RTA. Next rune going to be secured as well by Talon.
WS is having a look here for Arbit. It's going to miss out. No X-Back potential. The rest of Talon are starting to try and look towards WS, I think, as Arbit's still sticking around that bottom lane. Just trying to make sure these creep waves just cannot be pushed out. WS will show up. Oh, Arbit, this could be awkward timing. We'll jump back towards the south. WS really wants his X-Back play, but Arbit is okay. Gets the TP just in the nick of time.
Gate up top could be nice. Jabs and Q are a bit forward.
Makoto's here as well. He just came through the twin gate. Jokam, he might die for this, but Makoto might just clean up anyway. Still, oh, there's a lot of heroes here. Q is set to fall and does go down, so Makoto does find a trade, but now the Dream Call to lock him down on the TA. Cuckoo's going to jump in right onto Jabs. Makoto's still in pretty big trouble. Will turn around and try to fight this one out as Jabs has gone too far and will just die. They get very close to... Oh, TA. TA 2000 also caught out with the torrent of WS. I mean, Makoto, like, he gets close to dying, but Cuckoo just with no hesitation jumps in and just tanks it. And Arbit realizing there was no way to kill him, they just left. Everyone else just had to die.
Again, for Aurora, all of this durability is just not backed up by good damage just yet. There's no output on TA2000. There's no output on Abed just yet. He's going Lincolns as well. Maybe finishing up the Parasma first, as he does have a recipe, but he has both recipes on hand. I'd say the Parasma would certainly help with some of these damage issues, but maybe not nearly enough. Heck, and that's Mikado getting caught out without like anything defensive. No BKB, only really has the Hurricane Type 3 position,
Arbit.
and he still can't die.
Lincolns will save Arbit from the X-Back. Try for the TP play out and he's going to be alright. Arbit's probably the only person really keeping this game together right now by just keeping the waves pushed out consistently. If it wasn't for this puck, it'd probably already be high ground here for Talon. Considering they do have a pretty huge advantage. Of course, they know very well that TA just cannot be controlled at the moment. Zabed now going to run into Makoto. Just fine to just jaunt his way out of that one. And keep in mind, this is Makoto playing without something like a BKB yet.
Yeah. Like, they can't even kill him without it. He's just... He, again, knows the ins and outs of how far he can push himself with his shield. They get the jump.
They're going to try and fight. It's a nice dream call from Arbit, but the boat's going to fly in, just tanking everyone up. Hugh is going to die. Jab's still trying to chase Jokam, just trying to go back through the Fiend's Gate now, but he might just drop. No, he's out of there. But I can't say the same for the rest of them, as Kaori is gone.
Oh.
TA2000 caught by a lasso of Jokam. Also going down as Jokam will get tipped here by WS. And now it is high ground for the side of Talon.
High ground at 27 minutes in. Probably one of the faster games we've seen from Talon and Aurora together. Tier 3 already gone. Rax set to go next. Mikado has the output to just get this done. And the confidence from Akashi to just rush in. Again, once Guardian Angel fades, there's nothing to be worried about here on Talon. And they have their own durability with that boat. So that means even while you have physical immunity here for Aurora, you don't really have burst damage again to kind of turn it onto Talon. One Rax down. No Aegis necessary for Talon. They will go back and not go too crazy for another set of Rax just yet. But they have themselves a 20k lead, 25-19 here for Talon. Aurora. And something has to give. Something has to come out. There's just no damage. Seeing TA2000 again going back for a BKB. Pharasma for Abed. Shivas for Jabs. No damage whatsoever in Kaori, of course. A Gleipnir on Q could be nice, but still not quite anything that can burst. I know at this point, maybe just go Glass Cannon NP if it's still possible. For good BKB, you've been getting repelled up anyway. Lasso is still going to kill you through BKB anyhow. Just try for some damage somewhere.
Hunt is on for Abed. There was a smoke to give the info there that there are heroes around, as Abed realizing now he needs to get the hell out, but Makoto, he's got the vision. Lincoln's will be broken. They've still got the X and they've got the silence now on Abed. Gleipnir will lock him down. Repel will help though. Abed still trying to get away with the orb. We'll get further, but WS still chasing. Still the blink away now from the puck. He will be okay. Kaori. Oh, he's barely going to make it. Jokam could not get the vision for the lasso.
We managed to bail out of a rough spot, but that does open up Roshan for Talon. Dire side Roche for a few more seconds here. Talon, they've got an amp damage rune on Mikado if necessary. It doesn't quite feel that way. And Aurora not going to be in position to re-engage. I mean, they do have Fiend's Gate, but Fiend's Gating just in front of Roche could be a little bit excessive. Roshan will fall with a banner, opening up another avenue for high ground here for Talon. Instant pings coming out mid, while Abed's trying to correct these waves. See if WS can find a way of opening up here.
Abed. Okay to juke out once again. 20k advantage now as well, Talon with Roshan up. Want to move. It's like Akashi's working on towards a nullifier now, just getting really annoyed with this this damn Guardian Angel and Repel usage. And he will have it up and available. Smoke is out from Aurora. They're going to try and find a pick-off, and I think they've spotted Makoto there for a moment. Makoto, though, we've seen over and over again, is not the easiest of targets to try and burst down. And this smoke actually amounts to nothing. They'll just relocate to the top side of the map and just get some quick farm while they can. Push out the wave once again while they're at it. But it seems like Makoto's just going to force them to defend. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to defend, fine. I'll just take your axe.
Force the Fortify out without any creeps to get cleared out by this. Creeps are on mid. Still going to have an opportunity to siege. That's the refreshed Fortify from losing their racks. No other way of stalling out this push. And Talon going to be more than happy with that. They still have their Roche banner. I don't think they committed that just yet. It is in the backpack of Mikado. Akashi, though.
He's alright. Still has his BKB ready whenever. Though he does take a lot of damage from that sharpshooter. Cuckoo jumps in but misses out with the rebound. Cuckoo actually may just be dead, but he gets the BKB off. In the meantime, Makoto just casually taking a range racks. can't quite finish it off in time, but he'll just leave with the rest of his team and they'll look for the reset. They've still got about 3 minutes on the Aegis of Makoto as well, so there's plenty of time to just get your items and HP. In fact, never mind the reset, they're going again. They've smoked up. I mean, you really only did use the BKB of Cuckoo anyways. Maybe you lose the Aegis here and you do. The wraparound though, WS coming in from the left side, ready to help out as Makoto getting a little bit far, does get the Dream Core but is still fine. They're moving in now, TA2000, oh he's just melting. Akashi with a triple kill. Jabs barely avoiding the torrent coming in from WS, but my goodness, Akashi just sending arrows everywhere.
Dire's bottom barracks.
2 buybacks committed. WS another tidal wave out, catching TA2000 by the fountain. TA2000 going to be fine, but Kaori is not and Jabs is not either.
Oh,
both are down. Abed, he's... Oh, Akashi! He's just fountain diving them.
Oh.
Screw it. GG. Alright, Talon. I'll tell you, John, I wasn't expecting a 2-0 for the first 2 games of this best of 5 from Talon of all things, but here we are.
Here we are. Talon, they managed to get away with a draft that just has a lot of synergy. Sure,
Talon again, 1 game away from being able to proceed through the DreamLeague Season 24 close qualifiers for SEA as the champions. But they've got to win this game to make that happen, otherwise we do get to Game 4, which is happy days for you and I, Jonathan, but not so much for Talon. This Meepo has been very scary. I mean, surely Talon, at some point throughout this grand final, would have been expecting TA2000 to pick this up, considering he did run it both times in Game 1 and 2 of the lower bracket final. The thing is, with their draft, it's a matter of whether they're ready to deal with it, and personally, I don't know if they have enough. I think it's going to be it's going to be very hard to deal with if they don't get off to a very strong laning start here, Talon. We'll see, though. We shall see. I mean, they've certainly surprised me for the first 2 games.
You should apologize.
that they have. They already got a nice advantage on Aurora, instant D ward on the Talon ward on the Darside River. So that already cuts off the smoke play Talon was looking for. They are still making a long move around with Akashi, but again, there's an Obs ward here as well. Aurora has managed to get some coverage for any aggressive plays. Bosku will at least get the sentry block on hand, but not spot the Obs.
Bounty about to spawn.
The battle begins.
Perhaps a bit of a fight here down at bottom lane. Not really, though. Or rather, bottom rune spot, but not really. Still going to end up being a 2-for-2 trade anyway, so a nice even start between these two teams. Mid lane's probably going to be the boring one. You know, they've got a Dragonite on Arbed here against the Makoto Pucks. I don't really expect too much to happen as Arbed. Have fun,
Says to have fun twice. Yeah, have fun, has Handsome. And so Akashi says as well onto Abed.
Oh my goodness, we've got lovers in this game.
I thought that would be Abed talking to Cuckoo, but it's Akashi apparently. I didn't know they would talk to each other. Heck, I didn't know Abed talked to anyone outside of his teams. Right?
Sure, doesn't talk to us, John. I'll tell you that.
I mean, he did talk to us to tell us that the Watermelon Sinigang was not good, as they get first blood somehow up top.
But it was good, John. Akashi does get first blood.
Yeah, it's just as good as this first blood for Talon, right? Like,
I won't tell Arbed that to his face because he might, you know, give me a bit of a give me the Gabby treatment, as I like to call it. Anyway, Akashi is taking a fair bit of damage on this Luna, but he does secure first blood. Going to be very happy at this top lane.
I'm a bit surprised that happens up top at all. It looks like Cuckoo managed to maybe get a nice angle, battery salt off, chase down with a Lucent Beam. And again, that extra right-click damage you get with a Moonstorm is significant. Q's doing great work in zoning out and landing the Scatter Blast, though, with the reset he gets. So Akashi's not going to be the comfiest in this lane. And again, this lane for Aurora does have a lot of play. You've got Cookie, you've got X-Mark, you've got the constant Tidebringer. Luna's not a long-range hero, especially not in the laning phase, so constant harassment can come true here for Aurora, and that is going to make it a little bit slower for Akashi, even with that first blood lined up for himself.
How's the bot lane going? I mean, you're going to have TA2000 and Carry against WS and Jokam, and Yeah, again, TA2000 really has not struggled at all every time we've seen this Meepo pick up. The sniper is going to be annoying, but Meepo naturally has pretty high armor. Like, 8 base armor is kind of ridiculous for a hero in laning stage, and the sniper's quite literally just tickling TA2000 every time he connects with a right click.
And he is. Like, it's 8 armor and the fact that he has 846 HP with a Wraith Band, triple branches. Yeah. It's a ridiculous amount of EHP. Meanwhile, you know, this Doom, WS, double gauntlets of strength, circlet, 2 branches equipped, only 934 and 5 armor. Like, the Meepo does get a lot to ride through the rougher part of the game for himself. Again, there is some play. Infernal Blade into Shrapnel can be good if you can somehow work your way onto the Meepo. But Kaori's doing a great job of just creating a divide between WS and TA2000, providing that spacing here for the Meepo to just farm safe.
Looking back at mid for a moment, Abed obviously having a great time in terms of the CS, and that's to be expected when you're playing DK versus Puck. A Dragon Knight will just always win out the CS war here against his hero. Not too much Makoto can do about it, but secure his own farm. The Makoto is doing a good job of keeping up quite nicely, but of course Abed is going to pull ahead. That's not going to be surprising whatsoever this game.
There's one thing I wanted to point out. Look at top. Look at Cuckoo's skill build, right? He goes 2-0-1. This is because he's up against Snapfire. Theoretically, Clock is good against Snap in terms of playing with hookshot into kisses, but in lane, it makes your cogs useless. You can machine gun when you're trying to get the cogs kicked around. You do not win that as Clock. So I like Cuckoo's adjustment into just 2-0-1. No cogs, no point playing around with the expanded armature. Just harass them the good old-fashioned way. And get your laning presence done that way. It's still a slower lane for Akashi, but you know what? Jabs isn't quite running away with his lane in terms of CS either, so you're still in a happy game state for Talon, at the very least in creep score up top.
Kind of goes to show you how bad the other Clockwork facet is. It's like you'd rather the cogs facet without cogs than pick up the other one that literally does nothing unless you miss. Like how, you know, like I hit my teammates, so I get a, you know, it's just so stupid. Anyway, Q. Trying to get aggressive. Cuckoo's going to be okay. Akashi will be okay to retreat to boot.
What's up, Diff? What can you do?
I mean, at least they gave us one good facet, you know? Clockwork could be like Earth Spirit, where he has no good facets.
What do you mean? Stepping Stone. Stepping Stone, I swear to goodness. It's not good, he says. It's not good, he says. Anyone that says it's good. Right. Oh, the fake Earth Spirit players. Oh, look at all these fakes. Abed, you're a fake. You heard that? You see Mike, have your gloves ready, Abed. I'll help you out. Let's train up. Let's train up. Mike's a big guy. He can take a few punches. You need your training, Abed, if you want to be serious about that. You are a fighter, Mike. I'll give you that. He can't do it in one punch. Guarantee it. You are too much of a seasoned brawler, as I'd like to say, Mike.
Kaori's rotated now. Top lane. See if they can set up onto Akashi. I mean, Cuckoo's going to run into jabs. They've brought Jokam over as well, so it's a 3v3. Akashi is dropping low, though, still trying to go for the man fight, and actually gets him. Akashi will secure before he does go down, so he at least gets a bit of golden XP out of this. And they'll even find Q on the Snapfire. Kaori actually brought his courier through the Twin Gates. I was wondering who else was coming. It'll just be Kaori leaving the area, going into mid lane to see if he can maybe find an arrow onto the puck, or maybe even just secure the power runes. He doesn't even have arrow. Never mind, John. He's just securing power runes.
Abed gets himself a big one. Amp damage with half duration dragon form left. Makoto is not going to be that comfy to hold this lane. Lots of emphasis on mid now with his DK on the dragon form. Even Q showing up in this lane. And not much Talon can really do about this. This DK is just a little bit too tanky at this point. Damage is a little bit lacking if Akashi doesn't show up.
Dire structures are fortified.
Jokam's going back up top. Cuckoo is there as well. They could think about trying for jabs. Wraparound is out. Akashi, meanwhile, will get X'd up into the TP of Abed. They'll try to burst down Akashi, and it looks like they might just have him. Torrent will lock him down. Cogs is very awkward. Akashi, though, still making some space and actually gets out of it.
That saved him.
All right.
Ooh.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't have expected it.
Dire's bottom tower.
That looked like such an awkward cog. Akashi manages to dance around it, and it cuts Abed off in the side. He's not able to walk up. Already popped Breed Fire early. So he gets to survive very awkwardly. Doesn't feel great for Talon, but they will find that kill on Kaori bot for WS. So you are finding everything around the map. 1 to 4. I do appreciate what Aurora is doing with her warding. Look at these wards on mid. Watching behind the tier 1, watching in front of the tier 1. But all of that time spent on mid led to a dodge Dragon Tail up. Already popped Breed Fire early. So he gets to survive very awkwardly. Doesn't feel great for Talon, but they will find that kill on Kaori bot for WS. So you are finding everything around the map. 1 to 4. I do appreciate what Aurora is doing with her warding. Look at these wards on mid. Watching behind the tier 1, watching in front of the tier 1. But all of that time spent on mid led to a dodge Dragon Tail stun from Mikado, and then nothing else with the double damage from Abed. So he feels pressure to walk around the map, and they still don't find anything. It's, the idea is nice, but the execution isn't really finding anything, and Talon is relatively happy to just sit back, farm, take these freebie kills. There isn't any pressure coming out onto TA2000 though, because Meepo again is farming up relatively well. Isn't quite up there in net worth, but it is kind of dead even across the cores. And as a Meepo, even at a dead even state, you are a little bit more impactful with your early items anyhow. So you're probably not going to mind too much here for TA2000.
Bit of a chase onto Abed, but he'll just throw the stun out and leave the area. WS feeling confident to just take the farm away from Abed here in this Radiant jungle. Scan out onto the Doom, but nobody's going to really move there to try and help out. Well, a bit of chip damage onto the tier 1 tower here from Makoto. Wrapping back around to the top lane, but Jabs is playing a lot safer now, knowing that they have been constantly trying to gank him. Even has the Observer Ward on the triangle. Trying to take the stacks now is Makoto. Looks like he'll get away with the large creeps, but Jabs is going to intervene. So just Talon trying to be as much of a nuisance as possible here against this Kunkka.
I like that read. Again, that's something that Aurora always falls back to, these triangle stacks, as their way of just securing a lead or evening out a game. Talon just contesting it does make a fairly big dent on the flash farm that Abed could be having, on the flash farm that Jabs could be having. At the very least, the Ancients still stand. So they will have this big source still standing, but it is blocked with a sentry, so they can't get any further stacks to accelerate up. 1 to 4, game state still holding steady, but they are TPing down bot here.
They certainly are. Joe Camp going to be X'd up here. Should be going down very easily, but does at least tank the gank for WS. Jabs will come in for a nice quickie and just leave straight away. TA2000 has once again found himself on the top of the net worth board on the Meepo, which is very, very scary to think about if you are Talon. He's not too far ahead of anyone on the side of Talon, but again, we've seen what this Meepo can do once the Aghanim Scepter is available. And it doesn't seem like they're going to be hunting this Meepo at all up until that point.
It's a little bit curious as well from TA2000. He changes his itemization. Started with the Blade of Alacrity, looked like he was going to go Diffusal, had that queued up. Queues up the Ags instead. So it's an Ags Rush Meepo. I mean, Mega Meepo is nice, but every time I see Ags first Meepo, it just doesn't feel like it has damage even in the Mega Meepo form. So I'm curious if that's going to be an issue down the line. Maybe you just rely on Abed and Jabs to provide that right-click damage for you, or you're confident enough with just Solar Flare down the line providing enough attack speed for the Meepo to still rip people apart. Going to be an interesting change of pace for TA2000 to prioritize that durability. Let's see if it's going to be enough. So far, 2 to 4. This is the quiet game we were expecting coming into the series. It takes us 2 games, but we reached the classic Talon versus Aurora gameplay.
That we have. That's alright, John. We're at game 3. Yeah, Aurora, they are backs against the wall here in this third game, so it makes enough sense for them to go back to playing a lot more carefully. It is all about the Meepo timing, as we are going to have a quick pause out from Makoto.
Stop this. What do you do?
Makoto will go for the quick disconnection. FPS apparently is the issue, but Bosco says ping. Oopsie daisies. A couple of different reasons being provided here by Talon. It's a bit cheeky, isn't it?
And it is. It could be both, you know? It's
Yeah.
not like either of them's lying. It's ping and FPS. You never know.
All we need is one of the other boys to say mic issues for Kodo.
Everything's going wrong. Someone's PC got sabotaged. Getting DDoSed. As the old meme used to go. A meme from bygone days of Dota 2. A lost era. It's funny. I feel like we're almost encroaching back to that era of Dota, aren't we? Like, there was a time where we were months or even just weeks apart when Troll was a top-tier carry, and then Sniper became a top-tier support. We could have had those two together, Mike, and it would be 6.8 for you almost all over again. I wish we got those two in the same spikes, but not quite. Don't you miss those days,
Dire's middle
Troll
tower is under
Sniper?
attack.
Wasn't that
Oh, yeah.
amazing?
That was great, wasn't it? Yeah. Love that.
17-minute games every single time.
Don't remind me.
Ev-
I'm getting depressed just thinking about it.
Come on. Basically, every game turned into Aurora versus Talon.
I mean, you're not wrong. I'll give you that. You're not wrong. Smoke out from Aurora.
They have Abed's Blink. Again, they still have this vision behind the tier 1, but Kado's already hiding in the tree line. A little bit curious why no one's showing anywhere. LBS,
Dire's
perhaps?
top tower
No?
is under attack.
Makoto will get stunned up here on the puck. Arrow's going to connect as well. Makoto is gone. That's a very nice pick off here for Aurora.
Are fortified.
Immediately into the tier 1
Dire's
tower now.
middle tower is under attack.
That's the big one they need to open up a little bit more aggression on the map. Tier 1 not going to take too long, put the damage on Abed and with Kaori to help the cause. No defense coming out from Talon, more interested in working their side lanes. As they are just building up. You know, the lineup of Talon you called it in the draft, it is a little bit greedier. You will need some initial farm before anything gets going here whatsoever.
Dire's
WS is being stalked by Q.
It's going to be
Not
able to
gonna be
retreat.
threatened.
Makoto will go into the Mirana. They're going to find Kaori here in the Mirana, but he does leap away. Still, the Assassinate will follow him, but a nice smoke. A quick smoke out from Kaori. I think he even brought that out from the backpack. Just in the nick of time. It's very nice here from the Mirana.
top tower is under
Still
attack.
smoked up as well, so they could try to make a bit of a gank here with this the surprise smoke out into WS, but seems like the Doom has kind of factored this in. He will retreat back towards his team.
Scanning. Dire's top tower is under attack.
Hook is out. Cuckoo, he's going to find Arbet. The Doom is out immediately from WS. There's a lot of heroes here from Aurora to try and fight back, but I don't know if they can really do so quite yet. They'll try to move onto WS, but the Doom will walk his way out as TA2000 now dropping quite low on the Meepo. He'll go into the Mega Meepo form to save himself. Meanwhile, Jabs now being targeted does go down on the Kunka. So that is one down. Chase continues. They want TA2000. They want the Meepo dead. But I think they might have to settle for somebody else because TA is a bit too tanky.
That was, again, a very ballsy initiation from Cuckoo. They get the Doom off onto Abed, ensuring that this DK, even though he doesn't die, can't contribute in that team fight. Doom managed to clean up, barely saving WS with some really sick silences coming in from Mikado's angle.
Under attack.
And Talon do manage to clean up and get that less than 1k lead for themselves. Not a massive lead by any means. But you can see some of the damage issues coming out here for Aurora with the Ags Rush on TA2000. Yes, he can present himself. The right-click output isn't particularly amazing, and if you can't use your DK while he's doomed up, you really don't have damage to dish out in comparison to what Talon has. So, a great set of angles from Talon. Will find themselves a tier 1 bot, but Aurora still have a lot of the map to play with. Again, with that mid-tier 1 cleared up, they're very safe in their own triangle. No further excursions here from Talon to clear that area out, and the stacks are still constantly being built up for TA2000 to slowly chip away at. Going back for that disperser now in his itemization. For Talon's part, they've got the blink up on WS. He's going into that pipe. to protect up against Starstorm, up against the poofs, up against all of the damage from jabs as well. Mikado, for his part, already has that Witchblade up, could be going for that Blink next. And Akashi's just going for a very standard very standard Luna build up into the Manta style as well. So, again, for Talon, it's a little bit of a slower game. It does feel like Aurora is the one that needs to be up-tempo. Mind you, it's not that much pressure on Aurora to play fast. They do scale with the DK, so you don't need to rush things too hard. But you are at the point where your heroes are just naturally a little bit stronger in comparison to what Talon has right now.
Cuckoo gonna be targeted mid lane. Kisses are gonna fly out. Hookshot is out. He's gonna be fine. Very nice from Cuckoo.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Yes.
Could be in a bit of danger. Stun will be out from Arbit. They desperately want some kind of kill here on Aurora. This time it seems like they'll have the Doom kill. That's a nice one.
Much bigger one to find for sure. WS just not tanky enough without that pipe. Heck, even without just the cloak, not going to be able to soak through that damage. Is providing the space for the rest of the team. Kashi's still safe in the triangle. They're not able to run into the right side instead, providing that avenue for Akashi to keep his farm game up. Mikado is going for the Yules first here, so wanting some ways of isolating some heroes and getting some dispel on himself from the root, rather than something like the Blink, which is sensible up against the Meepo. 4-6, again a very quiet game in comparison to our first two games here, as Talon also looking for their own build-up. We're actually just getting Jokam straight into Maelstrom, and well, he's almost at the farm for Maelstrom. So maybe this is less of a support sniper and just straight up, I really wanted to play core this game for Jokam. And he'll find a farm. It could work out.
I feel like this is the way you're meant to play support sniper anyway. It does feel like a support that's meant to transition into a core. So otherwise you just end up doing nothing after the laning stage. The support items don't exactly feel great on sniper either, because he does want to sit at a range. Jabs is being watched by Makoto, but I do not believe they have enough numbers to really try for this kill. Jabs will be fine to retreat once again. Akashi is farming out of control at this point as well in that Luna, still ahead of TA2000 and getting closer and closer to having his BKB up. We saw that last engagement as well. Like, early on, this Mega Meepo isn't really as tanky as you would quite hope, as it seems like Aurora, they are going to go for a 4-man smoke now, hoping to go back into their own jungle and find WS, perhaps. But a very good read from Talon, realizing the smoke is incoming. They look to retreat. Makoto, though, maybe not getting the memo, but still gets the jaunt away. Now they pop the Doom right onto Arbed. Arbed, a sitting duck. They'll break the coil with the cookie, but he is as good as there's another hook shot. Cuckoo, he's going to find Q, and Q has no way out of this. He's down once again. Very nice reads. I'm not sure if that smoke was under vision. They were quite close to an observer ward when they did smoke. But Talon, they were ready for that one.
They got the scan off right in the nick of time, catching the tail end of that smoke. Allows Mikado to have the reflexes, sees the blink, instantly blinks away, or moves away on the puck. And they get just great counterplay from WS. No confidence to go further. Respawns are fairly short though, so there is time to look for a follow-up fight if they stall this tier 1.
They're going to try for Cuckoo. Cogs will come out, but it's not going to save his life. Cuckoo will have to die for this. Still, I mean, it is just the pos 5 clockwork going down, so not really a big deal at all for Talon. It's just a freebie for Aurora. And they do at least manage to hold on to that mid-tier 1 tower, which they do deem very important, considering they are still looking to play a bit of a farm game until they're ready.
Just stalls out the game a little bit more. And Talon, for their part, I mean, they're not fully prepped to go, especially while Doom is down. You have to wait for WS to have this available once again, as he is, you know, constantly playing around with the Devil's Bargain, selling stuff, going back for stuff, going back for his Blink now, just to get that initiation angle out for the team. You have the full Maelstrom up for Jokam, so he's just farming up camps by himself, really going for that full scale. Going for his power treads next, and basically becoming a mini core very early on in the game. Akashi, BKB just a recipe away into a Lincoln's to protect up against Dragon Tail Stun, or even just the Orchid from Abed, or the X. Just a lot of things to worry about here. do appreciate all of this coming out for the itemization on Talon's end. For Aurora's part, you've got a Hurricane Pike being worked on by Abed to get himself out of dodge. The pipe almost done here for Jabs. And at Disperser, only the recipe left for TA2000, as he will once again solo Tormentor no problem. Nice free shard early on for Aurora. You get the little spit on the cookie. The kiss on the cookie, at very least, the lava. And Talon will go for their own Torm as well. A jetpack for Cuckoo could be pretty impactful here. As again, we saw yesterday when he was playing around with that clockwork. Allowed him to find some pretty crazy angles. Unfortunately, it is our sniper that gets his free shard. So a concussive grenade at the very least will allow Jocam to reposition.
Aurora grouping up down to that bottom lane once again. Looks like a smoke is coming, and they are indeed. Full dispersers on the way as well for TA2000. Just the courier bringing out the recipe as we speak. Is it a Roshan attempt they're looking for, perhaps? They'll scout the area. I think the scan barely caught them as well here from Talon's end of things, so they know they're around this area somewhere. And Talon smoked up themselves, looking for the fight before the Roshan. Not seeing the disperse yet on TA2000 though. It could be a bit of an awkward fight for them to try and initiate on. Cuckoo still trying to get some vision. Smoke about to wear off here for the side of Aurora. And now it does. Same will be said for Talon in just a moment. Looks like Akashi, he'll get some information with these illusions. And the Rocket Flare will see some vision here over Q on the Roshan pit. Aurora, they'll just hide in the tree line for now, waiting for the right moment, as it looks like they are going to jump in here with Makoto, but he got silenced up. Doom is out, right onto the Meepo, onto the Mega Meepo, in fact. In a bit of danger now is TA2000. Meanwhile, Akashi just getting right to work, doing so much damage. We'll take both of them down. Jabs is gone, along as well as TA2000. And WS just finding the perfect target. It's kind of the thing for the Meepo. Like, if he's already in the Mega Meepo form and you doom him, he just can do nothing.
Just no damage to really speak of. Again, you are reliant on Solar Flare. I think the idea behind Solar Flare and Meepo, Mega Meepo is pretty nice. It's just not enough without more items up here. And Mikado just cuts off the angle well. Right, like he's going around, he breaks the smoke, his smoke under the Watcher still has the confidence to scout with the orb, forcing Abed further into the tree line, and Mikado just jumps Abed, forces the Orchid onto himself, but has the Yules, so it really doesn't matter. They get stuck in a choke point, and then everything else collapses with the Eclipse and the Doom coming on top. Just nice angles being found by Talon, and that leads into this Roche. Aegis up for Akashi, and 7-11 3k lead for Talon, holding steady. This investment on TA2000's Meepo just not showing up to be impactful just yet. And Abed as well. Like, without anything defensive on this DK, without anything like a BKB, it just feels like this Dream Coil is constantly going to be an issue from Mikado. Like, even if he just catches one, as we've seen a couple of times, just catching out this DK alone is already going to cause issues for the side of Aurora, because right now, most of their damage is actually this DK. It's really just this Dragon Form, this cleave damage, the splash damage he has, his durability. All of that gets taken away when he's isolated with this big stun from Mikado.
So Jabs up some blade now, just a little bit afraid of the initiation. This hookshot is out. They caught the Murata. Cuckoo from a mile away catching Kaori, and Cuckoo's got some kind of vendetta against Kaori, just consistently spamming the voice line every time. Now they found Jabs as well. Jabs, he's a bit of a tankier boy, but still he's in huge trouble as they'll just drop the Eclipse from Akashi. My oh my, Talon! I'll tell you what, John, this side is every game we see them, they just get better.
That they are. And it's interesting because, you know, it felt like the old Talon roster with Ponyo already showed signs of promise, and it did feel like they were just lacking like a clear voice in the game. You know, maybe in the first qualifier run and other third-party tournaments, it looked a little bit shakier. But this time around, it looks like the time is just steadily improving them. Cuckoo is starting to fit in better and better with the team. They're all learning to trust each other's calls and understand what each player has preferences for, how they see the game, try to align their vision. Whereas for Aurora, like we talked about, And I think this is where the difference comes in with the differences in how many players you've swapped. Aurora swapped 3 players. Talon swaps 1. Aurora, with her swaps, mid lane is an isolated lane, so it's fine. It's individual play. Your side lane in TA2000 and Kaori have played together for a while. So your laning is great. It feels like the holistic idea in the game might not be aligning as much as you'd want it to at the moment. That could be just the slight difference between Talon and Aurora's performance, because I think these two teams are mechanically equal. If not, I would actually say maybe Aurora's a little bit ahead mechanically on paper.
Here we go again, Jonathan. 3-man smoke is out. They found TA2000. The Meepo again in the Mega Meepo form with WS with no hesitation and the hook shot. Cuckoo right on target, blocking him in. TA trying to run, but this Doom has made it absolutely impossible for him to survive. He will die another time. And it's interesting too, the comparison, because we saw FBZ playing Doom against this same TA2000 Meepo. And he was having a lot of trouble finding these Dooms on the Mega Meepo. This time the WS, he is not having that difficulty.
He certainly isn't. I think it's also down to understanding Meepo matchups. Because Cuckoo himself, when he was on Darling and TNC, of course, when he was with Palos was a pocket Meepo 1 player as well. So he understands its shortcomings as a captain. He knows what to do against it. Just look how much emphasis he has, and look how much confidence he has to just go in as a Pons 5 with nothing but really a Solar Crest to back him up and just commit onto the Meepo with the Doom. He knows there's nothing it can do. So it gives him confidence. He has the understanding of this hero as well. 7-14, 8k lead for Talon. As Aurora, again, their draft correction, it makes sense. It's just not connecting. Talon's the one initiating every single time. And Aurora has attempted a couple of times, but just an unfortunate scan timing from Talon leads him to dodge. Very slippery heroes on hand. You've got the Lincoln's fully up for Akashi, so Dragon Tail stun onto this. Luna is not going to be as easy to land, along with Manta, of course, to dodge out. You at least get the blink up on TA2000, so there's some aggressive angles our Meepo can take. But the burst play for the Meepo in blink poof is just not there. With the pipe up on WS, as long as he turns on that barrier, you're going to have to commit a little bit more than just blink poof here from the Meepo to actually nail someone down.
I wonder how Aurora want to try and intend on trying to fix this issue now. Like, it just hasn't felt like any of these fights have been working out whatsoever. A 7-14, 9k advantage for Talon, and it's not slowing down anytime soon either. They've got to find some answers here, especially for this Meepo. He is the highest net worth hero on the map, on their side, that is. And well, he's continuing to go for that tanky style of build-up here on the Meepo, but you just question what it's going to get done if the Doom just connects every single time. It's like, do you just not press Mega Meepo against WS? Is that just the idea? Like, it's just such a hard game here for TA2000 now. And even without the Doom, like, Akashi's become a huge problem, and it's only getting worse. Hook, oh, barely off the mark. A very nice 4-star from whoever did it. But still, I mean, you can just see Talon, they're looking for blood in the water. Or rather, they smell blood in the water. They're looking for a pick-off attempt always, as we are going to see a 3-man smoke now from Aurora. Trying to move across the map and see if they can find anything for their troubles. They will run into Cuckoo. Not a Dream Coil. Makoto, he's found a lot of targets with that, but there's no backup incoming. Talon have decided they want to retreat. And so if you get away with only losing Cuckoo, it's perfectly fine. The Aurora, they do at least get a bit of space now to farm the map.
That they do. I think Talon just waited out Solar Flare to fade away. So they could take the re-engage without that buff on the Meepo and the DK. Half duration left on Abed, or have split apart, and Talon are still holding this triangle here.
Oh my god, Akashi. One Lucent Beam with the Kanda, and Kaori lost over half his HP. In fact, it wasn't even the Kanda
yet.
It's a phylactery. Great. How great is that,
great? I mean, going back to what you were theorizing here for TA2000's playstyle, right? I can understand why he's instantly Mega Meepoing. Ideally, you would do what you're saying. Stay in your regular Meepos as long as possible, try to force a Doom out, and then Mega Meepo up. But you can't do that when you're up against Luna. And you have the glaives fired in Lucent Beam, you have the glaives bouncing around, just so much damage that is spread across every single meepo that you could just die. TA?
It's very challenging. Bottom lane, TA2000, he's in trouble. And look at the Doom out again from WS. The perfect timing. The problem is there's no real backup. Oh, Makoto, he's coming. They've got the puck here. They're going to lose WS, but can Makoto really keep going here after this meepo? I think the answer is maybe no. Makoto may have gone a bit too far, but here comes Cuckoo to try and help out. They'll take down Q. Carry almost dropping to boot. Akashi trying to chase. So is Makoto, but a very nice torrent holding them back. Barely allowing the escape route for TA2000. Such a close call. And that's a big pick-off. They'll trade their support for WS.
They will. A big win for the side of Aurora in trying to stall this game out. Again, just the timing of WS gets the Doom off as the Mega Meepo is flying on. So it ends up on the Mega Meepo. And then just forces that entire duration for TA2000 as a retreat. Sacrifices a life in the process. Akashi not quite close enough to really join in with his team. If they had Luna, it would be a different story entirely, but I do like where Akashi's going with his itemization. Going for the Satanic to replace the Mask of Madness after finishing up the Conda into a Swift Blink. And just getting that possibility of repositioning here to get more aggressive on the Luna, especially as, say, Solar Flare starts to fade away, does make this set of engagements easier for Talon. You also have insane scaling. Jokam has to pull Mjolnir. This is just kind of silly at this point.
I was gonna say that last fight, I was surprised at the damage Jokam was doing to TA2000 and the Mega Meepo. I was like, look at that, Jokam's actually hitting him kind of nicely. And it's like, okay, now it makes a bit more sense.
He's just playing carry.
It's actually legit pickup though as well, right? Like the Mjolnir active, you put it on one of your heroes that the Meepo's jumping on, and they just get zapped.
You know what you're doing, Mike? You're justifying the support sniper pick. Now people in pubs will pick support sniper, rush Mjolnir, they're like, I heard a caster say, they'll just say, guys, I can put Mjolnir active on you, it's fine, I'm support. You will see this, Mike, because you have justified it.
Well, the joke's on you, John, it already happens to me. It already happens. Skadi up now on TA2000. He could get caught though. Coil is out, they'll find a Mirana. Kaori gonna get deleted here by Jokam. Hook off the mark. Cuckoo very close to hooking Arbed in the tree line, but not quite close enough.
Yeah, not the biggest kill. You do take away Solar Flare, I suppose, for half a minute, but respawn's not that long here for Aurora. They're holding onto the high ground nice and well. They've got Jabs up with his Ags. So the two boats flying out can be a little bit of a nuisance here for Talon to contend with as well. But with Aegis up, Kashi's just going to get started in the high ground, have the banner to secure these creeps on top of this, and they'll just get started. No problems coming out. Fortify forced out. Next creep wave coming in though. You really don't care too much right now on Talon.
Jump in is there. They got the stun off onto Akashi. They want to try and burst through his first life, but it's a lot of damage back the way of Arbed. In fact, now the Eclipse coming in, but they do escape. Scary times for poor old Arbed just trying to initiate a fight. They will lose their mid-racks. It's still 3 minutes on the Aegis as well, so there is time if Talon want to try and come back after a reset and go again.
No pressure here whatsoever. Might be a little bit more awkward now to try to take that fight with Kaori back up, with the Solar Flare, of course. So there is damage potential here for Abed. Dragon Form is going to fade away soon, and it's going to be on cooldown for a minute yet. So timing is a little bit awkward here for Aurora. They wanted to sneak outside. Talon just going to be hugging that triangle. They're getting a great job done here on maybe just trying to cut this creep wave with TA2000, just to try to stall, but doesn't commit for it. So mid creep wave just going to be shoving in. High ground still available for Talon. Akashi does not care.
No, he does not. He still has those 2 lives available. Akashi is slowly losing his first life, but TA2000 is gone! Oh, TA2000 is gone without buyback. Akashi just manned up through all the damage output. As now they've got Jabs as well. Cuckoo with the hook. Jabs will survive. Aegis is gone now for Akashi, but without TA2000, it feels like you are lacking a lot of fight. As Makoto now, sensing that they could just pull it lit on this game, has moved in. He'll find Q as well. It's a 3v5 scenario, and Talon are one well, I mean, one ancient away from proceeding through this grand final to DreamLeague Season 24, and I think they might just have it here, John. There's too much time. Too much time for Aurora to have to wait for TA, and they call it. GG is called. Talon.
Jeez.
3-0ing Aurora in a best-of-5 grand final. How about that?
Not what I expected at all coming into this final day here, Michael Phoenix. Not at all. I expected us to go all the way.